Welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and today we're visiting with Kristin Hildabrand, Warren County Extension Agent for Horticulture. Now, Kristin, in the fall, we always think about mums. You know, it's kind of like the fall flower.
Right.
But there are other options.
Yes, that you can find right now. I get really excited when I start looking at some of these fall flowers and really the color palettes that they offer, because they're very different from, like the summer blooming type flowers. They're oftentimes real bright, but still these fall flowers can add even not just a brightness about the fall colors that they provide, but also different textures too. And so I wanted to kind of mention a few of those that you might be seeing, as you're shopping at the farmer's market, or even, like going to visit the garden centers. You'll start to see a different change up of different flowers. So a couple of ones, like you mentioned, mums are real popular. I think a lot of times people instantly flock to those, and they're really nice that they have different colors, from yellow to more orange and bronze to maroon. There's even some tricolors with those, depending on how big that you want to go. Now, if you're looking for smaller containers, you may want to do a smaller size, but if you've got a nice area in your landscape around your home that you'd like to plant these, you can go oftentimes with a bigger size. So if you're shopping early, you want to try to look for, buds that aren't fully opened, so that way it kind of maximizes your display of, colors as you're coming into your home. But mums are absolutely great. One of the other ones that I really like now more than I used to is the asters. A lot of the asters, the centers are yellow, and then they have like a real bright, vibrant purple to them, or maybe even a little bit lighter violet color. Those are really, really pretty. I think a lot of times they'll hang around a little bit longer, especially if you want to plant them in your garden and landscape with some of your other plants, landscape plants. They're going to come back for you. So you just kind of want to plant those in the fall, get them, good and established while the soil temperatures are still warm, and then as they, grow, they'll still look good even through the spring and the summer as they start to come back. But there's some really nice asters that are out there, and they do attract a lot of different butterflies, for your landscape, so you're attracting some wildlife. So that's one good route, especially with the asters. Now, some of the ones that I feel like you can kind of brighten up some of your containers, especially after some of the annuals kind of pass by for the warm season months. Snapdragons are real interesting in the fact that their blooms kind of, if you kind of look at the blooms, they look like they're kind of snapping into place. And so those can work well in containers, but also as a bedding plant in your landscape. Nice pops of color. There's yellow and also really orangey colors. So you can kind of have those in your garden and landscape as well as containers. Now, one of my absolute favorites are these ornamental kales and cabbages. They can be edible, but technically they're more grown for the variety that they have. So there's nice pops of purples and blues. There's some texture off of their leaves just because there's uniqueness there. And so a lot of times when you pair it with other fall, interest type of plants, it's going to pop really well. So that one you kind of grow more for the texture and also, kind of more of the foliage. And then there's pansies. I feel like pansies are on parade, especially for the fall of the year. There's different sizes. There's also different colors there. So sometimes the bloom, you can find the color matrix. They're a little bit bigger as far as the spread of the pansy, or you can kind of get it into the Johnny Jump Up size. They're a lot smaller. They kind of look like violets, real small as far as the bloom size, but still I feel like fall is the absolute best time to plant them, whether it be for containers or even the garden and landscape, because even when they're planted in the fall, they'll still be there through the winter months, but even in the spring of the year, they're still going to look good too.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of some of those cabbages and the pansies. Now, I'm not for sure about the snapdragons. Are they cool tolerant as well?
Yes, they are. They are. I don't know how well they're going to hold up over the winter months of the year, but it just really depends on the area that you planted. Make sure you do mulch some of these if you do add them in your garden and landscape to kind of help them come back for the spring.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times with mums, like after the first frost, if you're not taking care of them and covering them up, their season's kind of over. But the cabbages and the pansies, they kind of give us just that little bit of color.
Right.
Throughout the cool season, even into the winter time.
We have some great annual flowers that publication that we can put in your hands and also give you some other advice too.
All right. Thanks, Kristin, for the information, and we appreciate you watching the Farm and Home Show. Have a great day.